Hello, my name is Robbie Fitzwater. I own and operate Marketing Rhythm. We help e-commerce businesses with retention marketing and email marketing and SMS marketing. One thing we get all the time is, how does email marketing fit in an overall picture of marketing, digital marketing as a whole? So where does email marketing fit into your digital marketing ecosystem, essentially? And where does it fit, and how should we think about it? How should we view it? Email marketing is really going to be the channel that helps you drive consistent communications, build a reputation, build relationships, and expand on those relationships with your customers. Once they've opted in, opens a door to nurture them until they make that first purchase, and then eventually, once they've made that purchase, being able to retain them after that. Again, we focus so much of our time and attention on retention. Again, should patent that, focusing attention on retention. But again, where email marketing fits into a larger digital marketing picture is, it's our way of owning the relationship between our audience and that communication piece. So many of our marketing channels are going to be beholden to a different algorithm, or how someone's going to interact and engage with different pieces of our marketing. Again, if we turn off our ads, nobody's going to see our marketing. If organic takes a hit, if our site changes something structurally, people may miss our marketing. If social changes an algorithm, we may not miss them. But with email, what makes it different and unique is we own so much of that relationship. Granted, again, somebody's email may hit their newsletters or promotions tab in Gmail, but as a whole, we own that relationship, and it's up to us and to communicate with them and effectively nurture that relationship the same way we would anything else, which is really unique and different in the marketing mix, because again, we're not going to be beholden to other channels and other places. And as it fits into the larger marketing picture, it's extremely powerful because it allows us to scale those one-to-one interactions that we wish we could do with everybody. Suddenly we get to do those at scale, and we can do that with a lot better, more clean, and more precise data in the way that we're able to communicate with our audience, with prospective purchasers, with returning purchasers, and it gives us a lot of unique opportunities for us to grow our business. So why is email marketing so powerful in terms of where it fits in the digital marketing ecosystem? So again, many ways for us to grow as a digital marketer. Right now, there's never been more channels or more opportunities to grow in terms of your digital marketing presence. This is a graphic that I've masterfully created actually for one of my classes. But basically, we can look at like SEO, mobile, places where you can market, affiliate, influencer, SEO, mobile, paid. Paid is part of a larger bucket. Your website, social, email, messaging, SMS, AR, VR. There's so many other channels. And again, this is not like, you could throw metaverse, Web3, you could throw a lot of other things into this bucket, but essentially we've never had more channels to market with. And marketing has never been moving faster than the pace it's running right now. I always joke like, hey, today is the slowest rate of technological change you're probably going to see the rest of your life. And when people think about that, that's kind of scary, kind of crazy, but it's true. And in marketing, this is really changing in a profound, unique ways. So again, as marketers, we need to be keeping up and keeping pace with that. So with all of these things I have at my disposal as a digital marketer, where am I going to place my bets and how am I going to think about this? So where email fits into this and why email is so important and why I spend most of my time here. Again, before getting into email, before starting Marketing Rhythm, I was the director of marketing for a large, 8-figure e-commerce business. Again, need to know a lot about digital strategy as a whole and how that fits into all of those components. But again, as an e-commerce practitioner, I knew that, hey, we can't be dependent on one or two given channels, because once you become so dependent on those channels, things can change, things can evolve. I started my career in social media, working in social in 2011. It was the wild, wild west. Every time you shared something, your entire audience saw it. It was great. It was, oh my gosh, the reach was incredible. But over time, I realized, hey, Facebook, again, that organic reach that we got to enjoy, that's not going to be there forever. So again, it's kind of Facebook or social platforms are kind of like a drug deal. Like first taste is free. You get a lot of nice organic reach. You get a lot of, again, engagement, but then it's going to start costing you. So again, it's a little bit harder as those channels get more crowded, as those get more competitive, it becomes harder to reach an audience. So you don't have as much control over that audience. Again, the volatility that brings is really challenging. So as a business and as a marketer, especially in the e-commerce space, we don't want to be so dependent on one or two channels. I always joke about being extremely dependent on those channels is, again, sitting on a stool with two legs. Does this stool look very stable? Like, is anybody going to have are you going to feel really confident sitting on a stool with two legs? No, it's just not. Like it's not comfortable. It's, again, you're always in a balancing act because things could change at any given time. So where this email becomes so important here, like let's say our paid channel or organic are driving a lot of traffic for us and a lot of revenue for us, we introduce email as one of those third channels. We add another leg to that stool, which gives us a lot more stability. That stool suddenly seems a lot more comfortable and a lot more stable because, again, I'm not balancing on two legs. So if paid were to, again, dry up or our ads started performing poorly or we migrated sites and our pixel needed to retrain itself, hey, we're still fine because we have these two channels that are going to help prop us up. If organic took a nosedive, if we had a penalty in organic search, we hopefully will have paid and email to keep us going. So we may be, again, ramping up our paid budget, and we may be, again, a little bit more willing to drive sales through email, which gives us the levers to do that. But being so dependent on two channels stinks. Again, if we drop to our organic, hopefully we're going to get that back eventually. But not having that option, if our organic fell through the floor, and then all we have to do is paid, that's a scary place to be, guys. That's not fun. So that's where email gives us a lot more stability because we own that relationship. We get to communicate with our audience. And who are probably the people that are likely to purchase our products the most? Our existing customers. Like, that's so easy. Let's not bring in new people. Let's look at bringing them back. And that's a really unique opportunity we have through email. And that's what makes it such a powerful opportunity for businesses. One of the other ways to think about this, and I always kind of look at like, how do we bring this back to fundamentals? I always view digital marketing strategy in terms of like, hey, there's 3 different ways to geometrically grow a business. We can, again, increase the number of purchasers that are purchasing from our site. We can increase the average order value for each order on the site, or we can increase the number of purchases each individual person makes or the frequency of making those purchases. So if we double any one of those 3, we double the revenue of the business, which is kind of unique and kind of different, but everybody focuses so much attention on number 1 on the acquisition side because it's sexy and it's appealing. But if we're thinking about this in a holistic view, email gives us a chance to do that retention piece really well. And if we're doing it well enough and we're building an audience and we're communicating and adding value to that audience, we're probably bumping up that average order value along the way too. So in this situation, this is a unique opportunity. We still need that acquisition piece. Granted, we definitely do. But right here, this gives us a lot of unique opportunities to grow the business. And that's where, like, one of the reasons I wanted to spend more time in the email space is because, like, oh my gosh, like, I'm doing this. I basically realized, like, hey, I'm doing the same thing I was doing in social, except like I'm 3 steps closer to the cash register and I'm not battling an algorithm all the time. And I was like, oh my gosh, my mind is blown. This is so much easier. This is so much fun because I don't have to constantly worry about like, hey, when's Facebook going to change the rules? When am I going to get a curveball? I have a little bit more stability and I get to do a little bit more with it. So that one-to-one interaction that I wish I could have created on the social channels, I suddenly get to do through email and it's really fun. But thinking about this gives me a lot more opportunity in terms of that retention piece. So that retention side of marketing, it doesn't always get the attention it deserves, but it's really profound in turning in the way we think about the marketing. I always joke like, yeah, if every e-commerce business had to think about their business like a software as a service business, like, yeah, Spotify doesn't make a ton of money off me on the first purchase, but Spotify makes $15 a month every single month of the year. compound that over 36 months, like that's a lot of revenue for them. And again, it's not enormous on the front end, but it's gradual and over time. And that lifetime value goes through the roof eventually. I always think about like my favorite lifetime value example is grocery stores. Like, do you realize how much we spend at a grocery store in a given over a given 10-year window? If you go to XYZ grocery store, like a family is going to spend like upwards of $50,000 at one grocery store. Like that lifetime value is super high. So again, they want to retain those customers to keep them coming back. And that's kind of the way we look at the retention side. It's extremely powerful for growing, but again, I always joke, it doesn't get the attention it deserves. So where we can start to do that, we can retain customers, we can minimize the churn of customers. And also where email is also extremely powerful, it's again, owning that onboarding experience. So again, that first touch is generally not going to be when somebody's going to be purchasing from you. If your product is going to be a more expensive product, has a higher average order value or a higher cost, if I'm purchasing a car, I'm likely looking at 18 to 25 different sources of information before I'm making a decision. I need a lot of different data points to help me make a decision. I'm not going to buy a car doing the same research as I buy a pair of Band-Aids. So again, that onboarding piece is really powerful and really helpful. And also for products that people don't know how to use, that onboarding can walk them through that process and make sure they're going to be successfully using that product. But where we can do that in nurturing and onboarding, we can do a lot in that space. And thinking about that from this angle gives us a lot of opportunities. So from that perspective of, hey, like we look at those growth multipliers, we're again optimizing for retention, optimizing for lifetime value, and increasing average order value, because if we communicate and educate over time, the average order value is typically going to go up. So where I'm doing that over time, it really helps me in terms of making my email perform better. Where it also has some unique opportunities is that segmentation piece, personalization, automation, where we can do so much of that one-to-one interaction that we wish we could do in a physical retail location. Like if you had the opportunity to walk somebody through your store and again, give them a personalized tour, make personal recommendations, make valuable, helpful tips, that's going to be super valuable. And that person is likely going to walk out the door of that retail location with a higher purchase value. This is what we can do through email and making that personalized experience seamless and well aligned with what they're looking to get out of it. So in terms of our digital strategy, we can do a lot more with it. I always joke like, email plus another channel is like 1 + 1 = 3. So like if email and SEO are working together, which again, every SEO and every email marketer should be BFFs already. Cause you have content and you have like distribution of that content. It's awesome. But if I can have great SEO content that suddenly I can use through my email, like that's a really great opportunity, because suddenly I can monetize that content really fast through email before it actually ranks and before it actually is driving revenue through organic. So it gives me a lot of unique opportunities. And where that's going to fit into your overall marketing ecosystem is really kind of up to you. Also, the way that we're able to understand behavior and then optimize for nudging and creating that behavior really is helpful here, because that context we have for so much of those behaviors. So if somebody does something, we can automate something on that. We can automate a trigger to communicate that with them, guide them down one path. And that's going to be really helpful to help us understand where this all fits. Do other digital marketing platforms or digital marketing channels benefit from email marketing? Yes, we'll go down the list. Okay, so like SEO, where SEO is going to benefit. Again, we're driving traffic in organically. Once we can actually create that list, once somebody comes in through an organic channel, if we can get them onto an email list, we have a higher likelihood of converting them through a welcome sequence or another again, email communication sequence. But we're not beholden to, again, getting them to search and coming into our site time after time after time. And also if they come in through organic, that first touch is going to be what's going to be attributed to that conversion eventually. So again, once that organic channel brings them in, we are hopefully getting them onto a list where we can, again, communicate with them and hopefully driving them towards that conversion. Again, not everybody's going to be like, some people may be problem aware, some people may be solution aware, some people may be product aware, and depending on where they are in that customer buying journey, they're going to need a lot of different things depending on how expensive that is and how long the lead time is. They may need a lot of information. That's where SEO really helps in that research phase. But also, again, they may not be ready to pull the trigger that day. But again, where those two can connect well, like, it's going to make SEO look good because that conversion rate is going to go up on SEO because, again, we're able to convert them after, again, a shorter window of time. Where paid is also going to be a lot better. Again, you're bringing people in through the door through paid. Some of those people may be bottom of the funnel. They may be, again, Google shopping ads where they're ready to pay. They're looking for a price and they're ready to go. Granted, like, again, if they've been in their cart, we can still bring them back in. And that's, again, going to impact our conversion rate. And it's also going to make those ads perform at a higher level. So again, paid works really well here, where they're bringing people into the top of the funnel, and email is going to be hopefully bringing them back in the middle and the bottom of the funnel to get them to actually make that purchase and convert them over. Where they're going to help with social is, if I can pull somebody from my social channels if I can take a social follower and get them over to an email subscriber, that's a lot more valuable customer for me, because suddenly I'm not beholden to that social algorithm to reach that person. So again, I'm saying social in terms of organic social. Paid social fits into the same category as paid search or paid display, where it is top of the funnel, paid social is typically top of the funnel, going to be, again, that first touch point and hopefully pulling them down through that customer journey eventually. But in terms of organic social, we're actually able to get people from our social channel into our email list, and hopefully from there actually get them to eventually convert. We always talk about those audience hierarchies. Yes, I want to take somebody from a social follower to an email subscriber because I have just a lot more structure and a lot more ownership of that relationship, which gives me a lot more power as a marketer. So again, when Facebook changes its algorithm, I'm not going to, again, miss my entire audience. That stinks. Nobody likes that. So that's where all of these pieces fit together. And then honestly, where I think this is really the strongest is like when we can start to use the whole buffalo. Is, again, I probably say this way too much. I have a million one-liners. If you guys watch these videos, you probably know so many of them already. They're really bad. The Robbieisms, they need to go away, but can't help it. Using the whole buffalo, basically, hey, how do I take what I'm doing on social and incorporate it into email? How do I take what I'm doing in SEO and incorporate it into email? How do I take what I'm learning in email, like I'm testing and experimenting and growing, how do I take that and use it in social? How do I take that and use it in our SEO content? How do we be specific and like, hey, what landing page do we want somebody to land in here to get them to convert over? Oh yeah, this CTA is working really, really well with this audience. We should use that here in this organic piece. That's what we need to be thinking about. And it is how our different marketing efforts going to inform each other. And email should be really kind of your digital petri dish for making those experiments and making sure they're working, because you can test so many different things and you can come out with really well-defined results. So again, this is where it kind of fits in well. And while that customer journey can be extremely long in some cases, email helps to create that stable platform from, again, first touch until last touch and conversion. And then also beyond that last touch and bringing them back in the door to hopefully convert if they on that retention side. So that retention side, again, is extremely important, extremely helpful, but that's where all of these work together. And so like once I've purchased before, like, yeah, I'm going to, again, if it helps them with their buying journey or if it helps them use the product better, that article that we're writing for SEO, we can totally use that in email because they probably need different products in your specific category at different times of the year. Let's make it relevant, let's make it helpful, and let's use that in there. And we can really get the most out of our content. So in terms of monetization of what we're doing, it gives us a lot more opportunities. Different types of email in marketing, like we have promotional, we have informational. I like to really focus a lot of time on the informational side of things where we can use content to build an audience. And that audience building, that community building, those community building activities are hard to do in some cases. but when you can do them and build an informed, educated audience, you're going to have an audience who's more willing to buy, more willing to purchase, and who sees you as a trusted expert. When you can position yourself as a trusted expert there, it's really helpful to be, again, like, when somebody needs to make a purchase, you're who they're naturally going to think of. And that's what gives us a lot of unique opportunities. Is email marketing still important in 2022? What do you think my answer is going to be? Yes, it's extremely important. Email is the hottest re-emerging platform out there right now. And again, I'm like, it will gladly say that time after time. It's going to be your highest ROI channel, your biggest opportunity channel. And once you can understand your customer journey and once you can understand their behavior, it gives you the most power of any of your other marketing channels. It gives you an owned relationship where you're not going to be dependent on XYZ to connect the dots between somebody purchasing once and purchasing again. And it gives us the opportunity for a lot more business growth, like we said, a lot less instability, like we said, and it gives us a chance to kind of expand in different ways and deepen the relationship we have with our existing customers. So in closing, thinking about email as a channel, it's important. Give it the time it deserves. Thinking about it in terms of not just like one way to think about email, spend time and attention on the retention side of things and average order value. And this is going to give you a lot of unique ways to differently look at your email audience and give you ways to drive more revenue through your digital marketing activities. So also, if you have any questions or have any ideas or areas that I totally missed, can talk about like the actual like monetization of this later. We're going to come out with more content along these lines. If you couldn't tell, I can nerd out on this for days. As a recovering director of marketing, I love this stuff. I teach digital marketing strategy. I'm pretty passionate about this. So if there's areas that I missed, insights you guys have, would love to hear your feedback, would love to hear what you thought of this. And if you have more questions, let us know in the comments. And yeah, this is Robbie Fitzwater from Marketing Rhythm, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.